I hate talking.
Girls, how you going? Thanks for coming on Backbone Zone. Stoked to yeah, coordinate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
me.
Um I wanted to have you guys on because I the bloom is something that I've kept an eye on for a while now, and especially since I've had in this weird world of BMX coaching that we live in, I've had like BMX girls grow up from like single digits and be involved in coaching and things like that, and now pursuing like becoming a professional athlete, I guess, is where they're potentially headed. And I guess I just wanted to see where you guys were sitting with just your backstory. Give me a little bit of where you guys are at with in relation to BMX.
Yeah. Angie, you want to go first?
Um, hmm. Well, I started racing when I was like super young. I raced for a few years. My older brother got me into it, and then I stopped riding. And then I started riding freestyle because I saw my older brother do it again, and it looked really fun. And so I've just been riding ever since, and it's taken me a lot of crazy places, and I've got to do a lot of really cool things, and I'm still doing it like what? Wow. 19 years later.
Damn, that's sick.
Nice.
What about you, B?
Yeah.
I started, I think I started around I was 15 years old. There was a local skate park nearby, and I had just moved to Hamilton from Toronto, and so it was really different. I was trying to look for like a community to kind of connect with, and I found these dudes that I wanted to hang around more. And I started skateboarding, and I just didn't. I just like this is not for me. So I picked up the bike, paid $300 for a Haro, rode a few years, and then kind of lost my passion for it because I think life just gets the best of you. You go to college and you go into like the career route. And so I stopped riding for a number of years and then decided to get back into BMX, but through racing. And racing was when I really tapped into the competitive side and did it for a number of years, got to go to worlds, competed provincially and internationally. Um, Eventually got bored of that because with racing, you end up racing the same people over and over, especially locally, and rediscovered freestyle. And my first time back was actually seeing Angie after like a year or two of not seeing her. Uh, it wasn't Waffle Cup, it was Vans Pro Cup in California. And I competed in that. And yeah, just fell in love, re in love with like freestyle again.
Wow. That's it. It's pretty sick that you guys both started in racing. I feel like there's less divide. There's especially I don't know what it's like in the USA, but or in Canada, but the in Australia there's almost just as many girls that race as there are boys. Did you feel like it was just an easier place to go when you started, or what's your?
Um, I feel like when I started racing, there wasn't that many girls, but
Oh,
there's
really?
so many girls now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I loved racing so much, but I was racing the same six girls like every single weekend.
Yeah,
Even
fair
and
enough.
even like even when we traveled, like there would only be like there wouldn't be a semi, it would be just straight main. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just got kind of old, and like it was fun, but it's just gets repetitive after a little bit. And
totally.
yeah, that's why I found freestyle.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, I had that same sort of
yeah.
feeling, like, because I raced when I was younger, and then I had another go at it back in 2018. Because I was like, oh, I'm in the Masters now. I'm going to start racing. My goal is to like get on the podium in Masters, which I didn't do, which kind of bummed me out. But um, it it's so interesting how I can go ride a skate park and do the same thing for years, like literally do the same exact line. But when you're racing, it has this feeling of like, oh, maybe there's more to this. It's pretty funny. Um,
Yeah.
with the freestyle thing, there's certainly less girls in freestyle, right? Like that's my opinion of it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
what was that like for both of you guys jumping into something that's so male dominated?
Well, I was the only girl in my country that I was aware of. Of
What?
course, social media is a lot stronger now, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was the only girl. And when I did discover another one, she happened to be in my city, but was a flatlander. So it was definitely a unique experience. And when I started riding, there was like two other girls I knew of, it was Stacy and Nina. And
Mm.
I've heard about another girl named Corey, but there was less than 10 that I was aware of for a number of years.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Same for you, Angie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like think too much about it because I had an older brother like growing up and I kind of just enjoyed everything he did. So it was just like I didn't really think of it like that and until I started, I mean, when I was racing, I was like super young, so that didn't even cross my mind. But like
Mm.
getting into freestyle and like getting a little bit older, like definitely like okay, so there's no girl contests, like and back then it was like a lot of guys like hated on girls who rode. So because there
Mm.
was only like a few of us, and so it was a little gnarly at first, but it's gotten so much better, and it's been amazing to like watch the progression of like not only the riding, but like the progression of like the community like accepting it and like guys supporting the girls and hyping them up, and having their backs. So that's been a really cool thing to
Y-
watch.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like BMX is always like a counterculture, I feel. Like it's something where generally the general public are anti, not so much now, but back in the day, it was certainly like a counterculture. And it's interesting to me that like it's sort of the same sort of path, man or woman, or it's just going to be like you're doing something that not everyone accepts, and it just takes time until people are like, oh yeah, of course, like there's girls that ride BMX. It was a weird time. I know what you're saying, Angie, like probably like 10 years ago.
I doubt you had comments on your stuff saying get back in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean that's like funny at least, but it was gnarly in the
Yeah.
beginning. Like even for me too, like just getting picked on, getting killed on like
Yeah.
BMX forums just because you existed. And like I mean my stories are a little bit more tame, but like I remember pulling up to the park and this guy would be like eyeing me down, and then years after I realized or I found out through him that he had a crush on me, and it was just like, okay, if you were nicer, maybe we could have been friends or something. But
Yeah.
then I'm hearing stories I'm hearing stories like just girls being physically harassed, like their tires being pulled as they're dropped in. Or this one story where this girl was at a park and at a jam, and this dude was like get back into the kitchen. Like it's just awful, but it's a lot better now.
Y-
There's still
Yeah.
stuff. There's still trolls as anyone will experience, but it's definitely a lot better and a lot less aggressive.
Mm.
Yeah.
Man, we're just
Mhm.
BMXs at the end of the day. Like that's what's so weird about it. I think it's just
Yeah.
people probably threatened by if a girl gets better than them, to be honest, like or something. I don't know what it would be, but that's such a weird thing to have
Mhm.
happen. I think we've been
Yeah.
really
I mean,
lucky. You go.
honestly, too, I was a little disappointed to see it was just a couple days ago actually. Fiend like picked up their first girl and she is from Russia and so there's like a little bit of drama with that, but it's just like I don't know. So reading some of the comments, they were just like super gnarly. Like you picked up her over this guy, and it's just like you guys do understand that like there needs to be like representation for women as well. It's like BMX is not 100% like male dominated anymore. And so it's sad to like still kind of see some of that, but yeah, that was like pretty gnarly actually.
Mm. Is um is that why you guys decided that the bloom was going to be a thing? Like, I feel like you guys are obviously a voice for women's BMX, but how did that come about? Like, did that come after you met I don't give me the backstory on the bloom.
Pretty much. So when I started writing, there was another platform called Women of Freestyle, and it wasn't what we have today by any means. It was kind of like a MySpace page. I'm dating myself. MySpace space with like women's BMX in it. And as I was progressing in my journey in BMX, I saw a gap. Like there wasn't any how-to videos, there wasn't any interviews. I don't know. I see these faces and these names, but I don't know who they are. So I started my thing, which was Magnolia BMX, and I started interviewing and asking questions that I wanted to know, and putting that online. And so I didn't know what Magnolia BMX for a number of years. It was a clothing company one second, it had a team or another. And during that time frame, I met Angie at X Wheels, which is like 45 minutes where I live currently. And that's when we first met. So I was like, Angie, like, come ride for me. So I had a team. And when I decided to quit BMX, she picked up and started Yazine, which it was her baby. And do you want to talk about Yazine and then I'll close
Yeah,
this
I
up?
mean, little. It was more of like I've always loved social media and taking photos and videos, and I was an art kid growing up, so I always thought it was super cool that like Nina did Emerald Nation zine, and then she stopped doing that, and Bia stopped doing Magnolia, so that's when I started doing Yazine, and I like just wanted to do like I think we did like 4 or 6 a year, and just a hard copy of a zine, and then ran like a Facebook and website as well. And I just loved filming stuff as well. And there was such like a lack of content for women. And so we did like a few trips and filmed a few videos, and over the years it was cool. And then I was begging Bia for the longest time, for about 5 years. I was just like, hey,
5 years.
like we're kind of doing the similar things. We should work together and become like a powerhouse. Like it'll be more powerful. And it took
Yeah.
5 years of asking her, and then
Every
finally
year in March, because that was the
in
only year that we,
2019
yes.
it happened.
Yeah, we would only see each other like once a year, because by that time I was like kind of thinking about going back into covering women's BMX again, and it didn't quite have the same like shine to it like I used to have it because I like left for like a number of years. Um, but we would always see each other in Toronto because it was a jam that happened every year. And every year she would be like, let's work together. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, but yeah, we had a big pretty big talk about like what the other person would offer, like why do we want to work together? And yeah, 2019 was when it happened. And then which is crazy because 2019 is like the year before COVID, so it's like crazy that so much has happened since, but it's been a great partnership. Like it's been a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
I can't believe that I didn't know that you did Magnolia and Yazine, both of you. Uh I so I have a friend. Her name's Leah, and she was one of the
Oh,
kind of OG BMX girls in
Leah
Canberra.
Bridson.
Yeah, Leah Bridson, yeah. So
Yeah.
she she doesn't really ride anymore. She still sort of jumps on a bike every now and again, but not too much. And I think it's really cool. I have this analogy of BMX just in general, where it's like it's not often that you can play. Like we've got rugby league here, right? You guys have, I don't even know what NFL, is that it? Yeah. But anyway, so you can't just go to like a footy field and see like your hero from football just down at the local like footy field, but you can do that with BMX. It's like you go to the local skate park, or if you travel anywhere. Like I remember the first time I went to Austin, I was like, holy shit, there's Joe Rich, like it. And then all of a sudden you become friends with these people from all over the world. It's like pretty spectacular that BMX can do that. And I think about Leah when I think about girls BMX, because she kind of was like trailblazer here because all of a sudden she was like hanging out with Nina, and I think she was contributing or something to Yerzine potentially at the time. It's been a long time since I thought
Yeah.
about this, but yeah, that's a trip that you guys both did those things.
Yeah,
Um,
like the first few girls that I found were Australian. Like when I first started riding, because I just went straight to YouTube and I was like BMX girl, and
yeah,
Crystal Shepherd was like the first girl that came up, and then I came across Peta
yeah,
and Leah and Angie, and yeah, it's
yeah,
sick that you guys have the whole scene out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember back in the day, like my now wife went on like all girls BMX trip down the coast in a bus with like I think Leah was like running it, not running it, but she was the poster girl for the whole thing because she was hard out riding every day. Pretty funny. Just
Oh.
so 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 cool to think about those memories. What you said you're artistic, Angie. What do you like doing? You have a background in it, or you went to school for it or something?
Yeah, I went to school for design.
Oh,
Um,
sick.
yeah. I haven't really got to use my degree yet,
Hmm.
100%, but I mean, it's cool because I guess, like, well, I mean, yes, I have. I don't know why I say
I mean,
that,
no
but like,
one ever really uses their degree, but you're definitely using it, I would
Yeah.
say.
I did my graphics for my cult frame. I drew those.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, I like did a lot of my stuff for my Vans collab, well, two collabs. Um, yeah, just little stuff here and there. I built out our website.
Yeah, sick.
Mhm.
Mate, that's rad. I actually feel like being in something like you guys have the Bloom website. That's kind of how I feel I use any sort of skill that I went to school for is just from like I swear BMX just you got that DIY thing where you just got to like jump in and do it. It's not like you like part of a regular company where they're like, oh, we'll hire this website person. It's like, no, we can do this all together. It's an interesting like
I know.
thing to be in. You just like the cult graphics that you're saying. It's like, why wouldn't you design your own cult graphics if you've got a background in being artistic?
Yeah, it was fun. It made it
Um,
more personal, which
yeah,
is cool.
sick. I definitely love hearing that sort of backstory with just all BMX stuff. Like once you find out that I just found out the other day that like Jordan Godwin and Felix do like the design work for I think it's Doomed or something. Like I didn't realize that they were like artistic in that way. It's pretty interesting to find that stuff out. When you guys first did the Bloom, like, and you finally convinced her, Angie, convinced Bea. Um, did it? Did you guys have any particular goals or anything like that, or was it just like a fly by the seat of your pants thing?
No, we definitely had like some goals. The original intent was to make sure there was an equal division between like flatland, freestyle, and racing coverage, and it did start out that way. But as like freestyle starts picking up, especially with the Olympics, even my focus shifted to that as well. Um, we started off doing what we knew, so doing interviews, doing event coverage remotely, and we're now kind of going to the YouTube space because media conceptions changed, and also it's fun for me to like edit videos too, and having to work on that. It's been really like a life-changing moment for me as well. But we're just continuously adding and trying to do more. And also, even for me, like learning from our past predecessors, like Ride BMX. They did a lot of things that we can now adopt in women's BMX because there's so many more women that ride now.
Hmm. With the way that the Bloom runs, is it something like you said about BMX, being in the Olympics and that being like a pretty prominent part of just BMX in general, right? It's freestyle, competitive park, and all that sort of stuff. Is that something that Angie and I know that you had, and are you still like kind of on that pathway for that sort of thing? Can you talk to me a little bit
Yeah.
about that whole journey so far?
Um, it's
Mm,
been a roller coaster.
yeah, sure. I'm completely naive to
uh,
any sort of journey that you've been on, so I'm excited to hear. Um,
yeah, honestly, I don't know. I first started going to contests because I wanted to ride with more girls, and so like I like competing, but I'm not like a super competitive person.
yeah.
Um, so that's been like kind of interesting to navigate through all of this. But yeah, last cycle I missed it by 1 point, and I was like shut down a little bit, and I was like, ah, whatever. Like I had video projects to focus on, which is more like my love for this like BMX anyways. And
Mhm.
this year is probably going to be my last time doing all of this, like my last cycle. But I made it to the qualifying series, and we have our first contest in May, and then we have another one in June, and then Olympics will be in July.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
That's
it's gonna be a hectic year.
yeah, yeah, it sounds like a hectic year. I
Yeah,
didn't realize it was in
but it's
July.
yeah, it's been fun though. I last cycle I was in college, and so it was like a little crazy, and I graduated in 2018, and then I was originally going to move to San Diego and work at a design firm, and then I like didn't even know that there was like an Olympic training center there or anything. And I was just like, there's so many cool parks there. Like it's great for like design work. And so that was like that was my plan. And then I ended up being on the USA cycling national team since 2017. And um that's like when all of the stuff started happening. And so everything just kind of like fell into place. Like moving to San Diego was so crazy that I was just like, yeah, I'm moving there. And then it's just like I didn't end up working for a design firm, obviously. and but that was like really fun. And then I moved to North Carolina to focus more so on like giving it my all this like last cycle. And I've been here for about a year now, and we're chugging along.
Yeah, cool. How's what's the scene like there for just BMX and women's BMX?
Um, it's really amazing because Nikita lives here, and when she lived in California, like I loved riding with her so much. And a big part of me moving here as well is Maka finally moved down to San Diego, and then 2 months after she like came to San Diego, she was like, I think I'm gonna move to North Carolina. So I was like, well, whatever, I'll move with you. So we moved together out here. So it's like it's really fun because like we all compete against each other, but we like push each other, and we like have so much fun at home. So it's like it's really good here.
Yeah, that's sick. I was wondering,
I know that like the Olympic movement, there's so much like weirdness with it with BMX.
mm,
Like there's I feel like there's so many people who like don't understand it and hate it. And then then there's like us who like do it and enjoy it. But it's done so much for like the women in BMX. And I hate that people hate it, and I hope that people eventually like respect it and like it, because it's so crazy how like it's so crazy how much time and effort like everybody puts into it, you know? It's you gotta respect it. But even if it's like not your thing. Um, but yeah, it's done so much for like the women's side of BMX, 100%, because there wasn't like that much, like there wasn't that many sponsors. Like there was a few of us that were sponsored, and there wasn't that much money. And then all the Olympic stuff started happening. So all these countries and federations came in, and they started paying girls. And so now all these girls are on like salary, and like more sponsors came in. So there's been just so much more like doors opening and more opportunities for women. It's
mm,
it's like amazing.
yeah, that is really good. What's the story? What is the story with sponsorships in the Olympics? Like, how does that even work? Because I know that last Olympics, it seemed like maybe I'm wrong, but I almost feel like everyone had to have no stickers or something on their bike. Maybe I'm just tripping, but you know.
Yeah, no, you're only allowed to have like the manufacturer of like Colt. Like like for my even for the qualifying series, like I'm only allowed to have like a Colt sticker on my bike. I can't have like a Van sticker or whatever.
Oh
And
wow.
like on my helmet, I can't have Vans or Colt. It has to be like Bell. But you're allowed to have like logo or not logos. You're allowed to have like designs and stuff. So people kind of like play around with that and with like colors and everything, but it's just like you can't really talk about it. I don't know the exact rule, but you can't really like you and your sponsors can't talk about it like 60 days, or I'd probably totally wrong about that and I need to know this, but
Mm.
you can't talk about it before. And you're not allowed to have the logos on, but like leading up, there's so many like partnerships and stuff. I mean, like for me personally, like I mean, I'm still gonna wear Vans riding and wear Vans at the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah.
Olympic qualifying series. I don't know if I'm going to Olympics, but
Yeah, I know
like,
what you're saying. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so I don't just because you can't wear it like in the moment doesn't mean that there's not so much more to get
Totally,
from it.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's not just like the screen time for the actual Olympics that matters for sponsors, I'd imagine. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's really interesting, the whole Olympic thing. I am for it. Like I'm actually like completely for Olympics because I think of it this way. When I was 12 years old, I so that's a long time ago now. But when I was 12, I was how old am I now? Anyway, that's a long time. I'm going to say that it was probably like the late 90s to maybe year 2000, 1998. Anyway, the X Games was a thing, right? Like, and X Games is still a thing. But 12-year-old me doesn't know anything about hardcore BMX yet. All I know is like what I saw on telly from Dave Mirra and whoever else being on television. And from that, I've now am a type of person that I mean, I still like watching like say Logan Martin and everyone do all the crazy stuff on their bikes, but my actual preferred style of riding is just going to the trails and like hanging out with my mates at the bowl or whatever. Like I'm not like a dude who's looking to be the next Logan Martin, although that ship has well and truly sailed. But but what I'm getting at is like you guys being able to be a part of the Olympic journey where it's televised and there's so many people eyes on BMX. And yeah, there's some things that aren't necessarily the most cool about that type of corporate BMX riding, but you're going to inspire so many more people than if you were in like some DIY spot that no one knows about. And you might have that, you might be able to inspire a girl that comes along and randomly sees you riding, but like you may change the course of where BMX is at if a young boy or girl sees it on TV.
Yeah.
And it's
I
happened.
think it, yeah, I think last cycle it was really cool to see like how powerful like Charlotte's run and like her story and everything even afterwards was
Yeah.
towards like the community. It was cool.
That was
I'm
actually
I've done a
probably more
couple.
exciting to
Olympics is
watch.
going to be insane.
Mm. What were you saying, B?
Yeah, I've done a couple of interviews with these girls that like not only have a big following already, but are riding at a level that's faster than I could have predicted. And they all started around the Olympics, and most of them always mention Charlotte's run inspiring them. So I can only imagine what this cycle's gonna bring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. I feel like now that the initial one is out of the way and also the funniness with COVID and how it didn't really have the vibe. Like watching it as a sport on the Olympics, it had so much, it was exciting to watch. Like it was actually funny how much it translated across to being an exciting sport, like similar to if you were to watch like the track stuff for the Olympics. I think it's only going to be more powerful. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
Yeah, I
where do
agree.
you see a lot of for me with BMX, it's like obviously that's one thing that I think will help grow the sport. But me being in a shop, I'm always thinking about how like BMX can be better, you know. Not necessarily more financially better, but just the bigger and cooler BMX is, the better it's going to be for everyone. And I think that you guys are in a cool spot at the moment. What do you see that could help the growth of BMX in general, but then also to do with women's BMX as well?
Well, I think the fact that we're covering it is a huge deal. Whereas not even like a few years ago, we had a situation where this news company posted up a podium of the dudes and like left out the girls. So we're there to like bridge that gap. And I feel like the more that we're covering, the more that we're in the scene and being able to be present at these events and provide like even like a behind the scenes at a fuse competition, I think it will just help further grow the sport. Because like remember like props you or like the mega tour like you would watch and you like watch behind the scenes and like you probably got into BMX because of Dave Mara or the X Games and then you found the core scene of things. And I feel like we're in this kind of like unique space where we're doing both at the same time.
Mm.
And we're also in a situation too where we're still seeing first and we're like documenting that. So yeah, I don't know, it's pretty exciting. I think it's just gonna get bigger and bigger quicker as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think also too, like doing more community events. I love doing stuff like that. We did Bloom Week at Woodward for a few years, and we're not going to be there this year, but we are planning some stuff for this year. I've been talking with fans about doing something at like the HB Park or trying to have like a girls' day there. But I think just doing like more community involvement is like so powerful, you know?
Yeah, I think 100%. It's a um the same thing as what I was saying with the whole X Games, and then you're exactly right, Beer. Like when you go into that first like realm of hardcore BMX and it's like props, it's like once you become a BMX rider and then you get to see someone tour into your town or like, like they're doing like a road trip, it's
Yeah.
so powerful. Like that's like once you see someone in real life, it's like you're hooked forever. It would be a really cool thing to do that. You guys should just get a real cheap flight to Australia, of
We've
which I
been
think doesn't
trying to plan
exist.
one. No, it doesn't. It's like $2,500 at least.
Yeah.
But it is on the to-do list because we've been working with Natalia for the last 2 years trying to do something every single year. But just as soon as we think that this year was going to be a little bit more mellow, more things get added on. So
Mm.
hopefully 2025.
Yeah, 2025 sounds, I mean, the non-Olympic years sounds like a better option than trying to do it now.
Yeah.
Unless you feel like coming to Act Jam at the end of the year, that would be pretty sick.
When is that?
Late November.
Okay.
We run a jam
I
that's
have always
pretty
wanted to
big.
go to that. That gym looks so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to make it out. Got some jumps
Looks
and Jason always goes bananas with building stuff, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it looks sick. Where's that new dirt jump spot that you guys have?
Yeah, it's just down the road. So it's in Canberra. But it's actually inside of a regular bike park. So like mountain bike park
Mm.
and we had jumps there for years beforehand, but then I um got organized and spoke to the government and was able to get them to build it for ACTJam last year. So it's just there full time. Yeah. So
Amazing.
and then hopefully it just
Yeah, you
continues to
probably
grow.
changed so many people's lives with that.
We'll see. Probably
Having having
have
jumps like that's
yeah.
amazing.
What's crazy about those jumps too is they're pretty freak like they're no joke. Like the second last one's like 33 foot long. It's pretty big, like 7 foot tall lip. And I initially thought that second last jump was actually meant to be 4 foot longer. And I had to talk to the dudes that were building it. I was like, dude, I got to run a jam here and people are going to die. Like people will actually die. But then, so it made it, we made it smaller and it actually could have stayed 37 because you can overshoot it quite a lot. But my whole point of the story is it's like there was 12-year-old kids riding these jumps by the end of the jam. And I was like, far out. Once you've got something there, it's like the level of progression just, fires so dramatically fast. I think it's just about like being exposed to it. And I kind of feel the same way with women's BMX. It's like it's almost like people got shown the door of how good riding can be with like say someone like Charlotte's Run or even prior to that. And now I'm watching like girls like Kim Mueller is a good example, and even Sarah Nicky, who's my friend that is now like, unfortunately, she doesn't live here anymore, but she's just, I think she turned 17, but girls are moving at fast rates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
it's
the
cool
saying?
to
Like
see.
seeing is believing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
I know
think,
when I first started riding, I didn't even know you could be like I could be professional. Like I didn't know I could make this a job.
yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah. How does that
it,
feel for it to be a profession for you?
it still doesn't feel real.
You've been doing it for a while now.
It still doesn't feel real.
What's your
I
like?
feel
What
like
is your
that's
favorite part about that? Sorry, Bear.
Oh,
that's all good.
oh, so much, so much. I don't know. I feel like, oh, that's hard.
Yeah,
I think my favorite part about it has been watching the growth of it,
yeah,
of the women's BMX side of things. It's been like inspiring. It's like every day I see something, somebody new, and it's just for the longest time, we could count on like our hands of how many girls we knew, and it's really cool to like see so many girls out there killing it now. And there's like girls are like you said, like they're progressing so fast. Like there's this little girl, she's 16 or 17 now. Or actually I think she's 15 or 16. She's from Japan. Her name's Maharu. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that she just is now old enough to compete in the elite class, but that girl is going to take over. She's so good. Yeah, I think that's been my favorite part, just watching just the growth of it go.
yeah. That would be pretty like a cool thing to have been around sort of at the start of it and then watch it explode.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I think the fact that the skill level's gone up so quickly too is the fact that there's less barriers now. Like we mentioned or we touched on before, like we were, aside from just trying to ride our bikes, we had external factors, dudes, our parents being, well, not Angie's. Angie's parents have been really supportive of it, but like my parents and even many others, like it's not a good thing to get into. It's too manly in my case, and I've heard that from other girls too. Like you should do something a little bit more feminine. You had those barriers, and now thanks to social media and I will say thanks to us as well, our generation is paving the way and breaking down those barriers so that the road is a little bit less rocky for them. And I think that's kind of like part of like my mission as we're moving and growing the bloom is to get away from like the war torn era that we lived in and do more for this generation because this generation has been exposed to trolls obviously and like the bad comments, but very few have been actually like say physically harmed by like their peers just for riding a bike. But yeah, it's been crazy to see. Like it seems like I just like blinked, and all of a sudden the levels just like quadrupled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
And even last year when we had Bloom Week at Woodward, I went to Woodward when I was 15 as a camper and I was the only girl BMXer there. And that was like a little hard, but going there last year and hosting Bloom Week and there was 10 BMX girl campers, like it was so cute to like just watch them like make these little friendships and be like, oh, hey, like you do what I do. There's other people like me, you know, like even if they live far away from each other, they made that like little connection and is that's been so good to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like I think you guys, well, as women's BMX as a whole, I think is in a really awesome spot because you're kind of at the, things have just exploded, but it's just small enough to where everyone's like, oh, you ride BMX, come over here, like, let's be a part of it. Whereas BMX for a little while, and we've sort of seen it, even like what I said with the Olympic thing, we can't just all embrace BMX now. It's like, as like with male BMX riders, that seems like we all get too hardcore and we try to separate because, oh, BMX is too big, so let's form our own little niche here. Whereas I see the growth of women's BMX being a really good thing for just BMX in general, Um,
I think so.
I
I think it's like more revenue for businesses too. Like mountain biking is at the point where 40% of the ridership is female now.
Holy crap. Yeah,
And
right.
why would you want to tap into that financially? And
Mm,
if you don't invest in women's BMX, like you're just burning your money or potential money.
yeah, yeah. I also like I don't know how to quite say this without sounding like dummy, but the
Oh, what?
the like, surfing is another example, right? Of it's no longer like it's just a sport without a dominating gender. Like there's a lot of female surfers, and um I think it allows people to be more expression, like have more expression and more like, I don't know, like, not that you can't have beauty in like male dominated things, but I just feel like the lifestyle, when something is more of a whole, you can then start focusing on lifestyle and building the lifestyle of a particular subculture. And I think that it really brings something to the table with like what you guys are doing at the Bloom, because it's showcasing another form of writing. You know what I mean? Like I know that's the same form of writing, but like I think when people can see, oh, I ride BMX, but my sister could ride BMX, and it doesn't have to even represent the same type of riding. I guess what I'm getting at. I'm sounding very confusing, but like I'm trying to show just through Backbone that it's like BMX doesn't have to be the best. You don't even have to do it all the time. It can be like as simple as, you know, riding around town, but that's BMX as well. And I think now that we have a lot more girls riding, it's like girls can probably feel like, oh, I don't have to be the best rider. I can just do this for fun. Like it's another avenue to do. So I don't know what you guys thoughts are on that whole world of more lifestyle generated riding, but it'd be
I
something
think we
that I'd
need
be,
more of it in BMX.
yeah.
I think that kind of like our generation of like who hated on girls, you know, they hated everything, you know, they hated on vloggers, you know, it's just like, can you imagine like where things would be at if people like didn't hate on vloggers so much back then? It's like I always wanted to do that like 10 years ago and I never did and I
Mm,
so regret doing it, but I just like that like Adam LZ kid, you know, didn't the whole he got put on Stranger and just like the whole team quit, didn't they, or something
yeah,
crazy. It's just like
yeah.
I feel like there's so many egos in BMX, and it's like you guys aren't making BMX like better.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of
but
that's a perfect point, Angie, because I'm into like fitness and I'm a PT and my wife's a PT, and because no one was really doing it within my friendship circle, we'd watch like a lot of like fitness shit on YouTube, and it's like you look at fitness as a whole now, it's like this billion-dollar industry, and it's mainly to do with the fact that people weren't scared to vlog, and a lot of it was very positively received. Whereas in BMX, it's like, no, let's just keep it the same as it's always been.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, people hate on that Nigel Sylvester dude so much, and it's just like, who cares? Like, he's not like harming you. Like,
Mm,
he's like doing like crazy high fashion stuff. Like, let him do his thing, you know. It's sometimes it's sick to see like someone do a hop bar or just like whatever. Like it's not harming you. It's sick that he's getting it out. Like he's getting Pharrell on a bike, you know. It's like, well, I mean, don't quote me on that, but
yeah, yeah,
it's sick to see like so much cool stuff that he has done. You know, it's inspiring. It's just crazy. I feel like a lot of it is just jealousy, stems from jealousy.
yeah,
I don't
exactly
know.
right. Yeah, yeah.
But
It's definitely
it's
jealousy and like just talking out of your butt too, because like I
yeah.
yeah, it's just unnecessary sometimes. We had this like trail dude that like called us out for not posting any trail like content, and I was like, I did a full interview about this trail event. Here's a link. And he's like, sorry, I'm just being salty. Like, why? Like, why are you like for putting that out there?
Yeah,
What is
And
it
yeah.
it's just like not
achieving?
only that, there's not trail events like every weekend that women are riding at.
Yeah.
It's just like we try to post as much as we can of what we see, and it's like that at the end of the day, like you want to see more, like yeah, help us find more content.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
hmm
that's very true. Yeah, do you have any other crew contributing to the site?
Not right now.
Um,
No.
no, but I got inspired by like Ride BMX recently and kind of realized there may be an opportunity now to do like regional support or sorry, regional reports. So I've actually gotten two girls who will be volunteering their time once a month to just kind of give us a recap of the happenings in their area and things to look forward to. Because there's a lot of things that even let's say in the UK, I was talking to Kaylee and she's like, some girls forget that there's free ride nights for girls at this one park and they keep having to pay for it. So like this is a really good opportunity to put that in the report. And I think it will just further grow like our community as well to know that, hey, there's like, because we get messages all the time, like, hey, I'm in Austin, I'm in this city. Do you know anyone? Like, so I think this will be a good way to kind of like make the world a little bit smaller.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea for sure. That was like one of my favorite things, reading those like reports about what's happening in the different states in Australia in a magazine we had
Yeah.
called 2020. It's actually one of the
And the
reasons.
crazy part is that one of my friends who like shoots for Woodward or used to, he used to work for Ride. And he said that everyone that needs to contribute to that regional report is still in BMX in some form or another. And I can confirm that because one of my friends who did it for Canada is like he owns a bike shop here in Hamilton.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's so
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, so do you guys have any plans for the future of Bloom specifically, or any plans just in general?
Lots. I don't know. We're looking to do more community events.
Yeah.
Trying to make it more accessible. I think the uh, tricky thing is just working around a schedule because Angie being a full-time athlete and me going back to work full-time now, it's a little bit harder to do in-person events from a logistical standpoint. But my plan is to keep growing it from the administrative side, more YouTube stuff, more engaging content, more helpful content. So as I mentioned earlier, we're coming from an era of BMX where there was a lot of negativity, and we're still kind of feeling it even years later. But there's this new generation now that isn't experiencing that as much, and they're looking to growing in the sport career wise. So we've been in a really like nice situation where we've had riders come to us asking for help with their contracts. So I think that's something I would like to continue with the Bloom is help that side of BMX for these individuals. And I think we've talked a little bit about having an agency one day because there's a continuous need of like women on BMX bikes for commercial shoots. And yeah, they don't know where to go. So we could be that.
Yeah, that's an awesome
Yeah.
idea.
And I like through the years I've learned a lot of like how to navigate commercial work because it can be a little tricky. And you kind of gotta fight for yourself a little bit. So yeah, I think it would be really cool to take that knowledge and transfer it to, the next generation
Yeah,
eventually.
that's an awesome. That's a really sick idea. Just because, um, I actually went where I did this was for a skate park opening in a town called Jindabyne. It's like a snow at the bottom of a snow area. I don't even know how you call it, resort. Anyway, um,
Snow area.
and yeah, I don't snowboard or anything, so I don't know what they call it. But yeah, to do the skate park opening, the crew that put the event on, they're quite switched on, and they were actually after a girl BMX rider, and there's none really in the town here anymore, and they were able to fly like just through me knowing different girl riders up and down the east coast of Australia. I was able to find one, and they were able to fly her here and do that. But it's like I said earlier about the whole being in a really cool spot with girls BMX, because I think everyone would be looking to help each other out right now, to help it grow. And for someone like that, she's my mate, and she was actually saying on the way up that she's done like shoots with just like it's called Medicare. It's like I don't know, a company that looks after healthcare and things like that. She's done shoots with BMX bikes for that before. And I'd say that there's probably quite a few opportunities for girls out there because, like you said, it's an emerging sport. Good idea. Like the idea.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
I've had like
yeah.
sorry, absolutely. I've had some cool opportunities like hooking up my friends with like a gig. My friend who rides flatland got like a $2,500 gig doing like I don't know what the flatland trick is. It's like a scuff or something, but it was for a gas commercial, and they wanted her to do the most insane flatland trick, like world level, but it was a photo, so they were able to manipulate that. But there's a lot of opportunities out there, and there's casting directors, from my experience, are really lazy. They'll put things on Facebook. They don't really reach out. They don't have the time to reach out. So they'll put it on their Facebook feed, and then we'll get tagged on it. And then once we get tagged on it, they'll usually reach out to us specifically asking if we know anybody. So there's definitely a need, and especially because I don't know, yeah, with the Olympics coming up, this is the time frame that you're going to see more commercials being shot for it.
Mm, yeah, that's really cool. Well, I'll definitely tell the girls that I know to get in contact with you. Um, One cool thing that I would love to do, I haven't put anything really up about it yet, but I am excited to starting to help you guys out, and hopefully we can make something happen. I'd love to do a t-shirt or something with you guys, like a
Yeah,
Love
girls.
that'd
that.
be
That'd be sick. Maybe I can draw something and you can draw something, Angie, and we can put it on a tee.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
You go first, then I'll add to
All
it.
right. That sounds sick. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm really psyched on everything you guys are doing. Like, like I said at the very start of this, like, I've been very lucky to have a lot of girls that have come up, both from very young to now they're just killing it. Sarah, Nikki, there's another girl, Miley, Tui, that is maybe like a year or two younger than Sarah, but they kind of push each other, and I love seeing the growth of something when it's in this stage of like, you know, I feel that girls BMX has just got so much more to give to BMX in general, because it is BMX. It's just obviously girls riding BMX, but hopefully you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just excited to see where you guys being at the epicenter of it all and pushing it. It's awesome to see.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it, honestly.
And I'll
I'll be sitting
I'll
back with my popcorn.
No, you're going to be on telly. I'll be watching you at the Olympics. No, it's yeah, you guys doing a good job. So I'd be happy to help whatever I can do. If you guys have got any ideas, I'm all ears.
Thank
So
I
you.
appreciate
Appreciate
that.
yeah. But no, thanks for coming on the podcast, girls. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And good luck with everything, Angie. Good luck with the next few months. And Bear, good luck with
Thank you.
your job. Hopefully you can fit in a bunch of BMX as well.
Yeah, they've been
Oh,
pretty cool
yes.
about it.
She's coming to the
I'm
first qualifier.
Ah, sick.
I
Hell yeah.
they they approved, like, I gave them my agenda for the year, and it's been approved. So I'll be in France for Beast and then Shanghai for the qualifier. So I'll be away for like 3 weeks.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
sick. That feast Montpellier always seems like a sick time.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
tiring on my side of things, but yeah, it's a
And
fun
they're
time.
they're this year they're having their first street contest for girls.
Oh really? Oh, that's sick.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that supposed to be out? I think that's supposed to be private.
When is this coming out?
I'm not sure. Maybe we can find out if that's
It's
public
not.
knowledge yet, and I can wait. Anyway, whatever.
That's fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's sick.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I'm super excited to go, because over the last few years, women's street has just exploded from nothing to now a handful. It's like seeing women's BMX, but in a concentrated form within women's BMX. And I know Linda's having some plans for later in the year for a women's street jam, probably possibly in like Barcelona, and she wants to grow that side of BMX, and so there's a whole this beautiful like community effort from every angle that's working together with us to grow our sport.
That's
So it's pretty
sick.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah, Linda and Emma as well. The two
Mhm.
girls that come to mind of shredders that. That was
Yeah.
actually a funny story. Seeing you guys at Nora Cup, meeting you at Nora, and then walking home. I was like walking home pissed but I was done with the party.
Yeah.
And like walking through the back streets, and then the person that I run into is you and Jesse and Emma, I think, was
Yeah.
chilling in the back streets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chilling in her I think bedroom at the time, which was her van.
Oh right. Yeah,
But
classic.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that I mean, it's for my perspective in the last couple of years too, like the opportunities that you and I've been given to be a part of the BMX community has been like amazing. Like I wanted so much to be a part of something when I was younger, and now not only did we create something together, but like we're like wanted, we're respected, we're being asked to like present an award or to build an obstacle that happens to be bright pink in the middle of the freaking course. You know, like it's women's BMX has gone like so far. Yeah, so awesome.
Yeah, it's badass. It's
Mhm.
sick. Yeah, well, congrats, girls, and I'm excited to see the rest of 2024. Hopefully, we can all meet up for a ride. I can get you guys across to cover the act jam. Angie, I'll follow you through the jumps.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
be
Deal.
sick.
I'm coming this year.
Yeah, yeah. We'll put it out into the ether. Speak to Colin. Speak to Mapstone. Whoever can get you over here.
I would love
All right.
to. I'll try to make it
I think
happen.
November's pretty slow, so I think
Yeah.
it could happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, girls. Well, thanks heaps again, and I'll speak to you
Yeah.
guys soon.
Sounds
Bye.
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Bye.